Here we go. Resh Samach Bet. We're going to start here. Let me get it straightened out a little bit. Okay. It's a Kavarn is Boyer La'el. We've already explained up above. Inyan Hanefilim Hanizkarim B'Pasuk. Hanefilim Hoya Ba'aretz. So we have this that we had in the Aretz. There were this in the Nefilim. We said before. He's going to explain it again. Shehem Arba Nefilim Shenafla Lamata Ba'olam Hazeh. V'nolo Yedera Bechiber HaKlipos Dechurim V'Nikroyim B'nei Elohim Im HaKlipos Nukvin HaNikroyim B'nos Ha'adam. So the Yichud over here, and he's going to explain it. I think again he's going to say it again. Kamoshin Amber Behemshek HaPasuk Asher Yavo B'nei Elohim. So this is actually the pasuk. He says that the B'nei Elohim, they came al B'nos Ha'adam, they entered in with them. V'yoldu Lohem, and they gave birth for them. In other words, children were born out of this yichud. Kolomer shahanefilim nolu ayedech b'biyas b'nei Elohim b'benos Adam. He said me'antem mevar siyum apasuk. Now let's look. He says so that's what happens. These klipos make a yichud, and as a result of that, they produce these. They produce. I don't think you use the word giborim here yet. V'yaldo lechem heimach giborim Hashem me'olam anshe Hashem. So now we have these words to work. We have the Giburim and we have the Anshe, the men of the name. The pasuk says like this: Hema Giburim. These are the mighty men. What does it mean? Haim, Shishim Giburim. There are actually 60 of them. Shuhayu Besod the Nefilim, which is the concept of those elements from Kedusha that fell down lower. For Shorshim Betzad Klipos Adikurim and Nikroim B'nei Elohim. So therefore, their shorish really is in the male klipos, which are called b'nei Elohim, shehem b'bechinas chachma b'bina dezer anpen, which is the chachma b'bina dezer anpen, shalom Habriah, hanikroim yama rabba. This is also a name of them, v'tahoma rabba. A commotion is bar that we've seen this explained before. V'hinei shishim giborim. There were 60 giborim. Eloch mehen keneged sheish kitzvo shel zer anpen. And where do you get 60 from? Well, zer anpen is a 6. Ki kol echad m'sheish kitzvo is Eloch Kolo Me'eser. So I think he's talking about the Zer Anpin of Olam Habriah, but I'm not sure that he didn't say that exactly, but because he's going to say, as we know, that it actually has a Shorish and Atzilus as well. So then that's how you get 60. That were from the world. So what is that? That is, it's the upper world. Shagiburim Boam Olam Elyon. What does Olam Elyon mean? Va'inyan hu da'af al gav shemakom shorish agiburim. Hu ba'olam habriah ka'amor. That really want to say that where they're happening in Olam Habriah. Im kaze yesh lechem shorish gam ba'olam elyon, but they have a root also in Atzilus. The hinder b'sheish kitzvo shazer anpin de Atzilus and nikra olam. So here we're seeing a case. I guess he's drawing that the Olam Atzilus is bleeding, so to speak, or being fed, or they're feeding off of Olam Atzilus, of the Zer Anpin of that Olam. V'omer Pasuk Od Anshe Hashem, then it says men of the name. This Nagam B'Shma, so they work the world through a name. This Nagam, or how they work, is through a name. Berush HaGiburim Elu, these Giburim, these 60 Giburim, Elu, Elu miznagim besod shem Elokim, so they work using the name Elokim, it's lashon din. Va'inin ki av sheyesh lechem shorish bezer anpin d'Atzilus, which is kadosh, shehu sod shem avayim. Im kol zecha b'shorish ha'anhagos elu hagiburim the klipos hem ba'olam habriah, but they're where the actual root is in Olam Habriah. Their root, R-O-T. Is in the Olam Habriah, shehu b'sod shem Elokim, v'lekach nikra giburim. So therefore, in the Elokim, Elokim, he says, goes with Olam Habriah. Elo anshe Hashem, when it says they're men of the name Stam, it doesn't say what name. V'lo anshe Havaya, and he wants to say, well, what name could it use? It could use the name of Havaya, which is where they're originally coming from, Kamoshe Yivor Lothanenu, as we're going to get into. And b'vor mashma, they say, well, what's its name? Ma Hashem Stam Shehizkir HaPasuk. So what's name is the pasuk talking about? And so he says, V'amar, Shma Kadisha is Nagam Be the Lo Kadisha de Santa. Shehu Shem Kadosh, it's a holy name. Behind Shem Elokim. Elokim is a holy name, Shel Olam Habriah, but this is the Elokim of Olam Habriah. Shehu Besod Eitz Das Tov V'Ra, which is the secret of the balance between. Asher Bo Misnagim Kol HaMadregos. You know, I think that I did this already. I definitely did, but if you don't mind, we'll just go over it again. So we see the lower spheros, mitzad the Gedusha, which are outside of Gedusha, but it's not the name Avaya. Which is Avaya's Lashon mercy. So this is the way the upper levels can work. So the Elyonis, the Atzilus, Shehem Mitzad, the Kedusha, which are Kedusha, there you have a Yud Kei Vav, Evenis Nagam Ala B'Shma. Aval Gam HaMadregus Atachtonos, She'enu Mitzad the Kedusha, which are not from the Kedusha, Einem is Nagos Ala Yedech B'Sham Kadosh, they only work through the holy name, through a holy name. V'hinda L'kach Nikra Kan, Eloch HaGiborim, the Klipos, so these are the Giborim, they're coming from Olam Habriah and Olam HaKlipos. B'Shem Anshe Hashem, they're called the men of the name. Lomer she'ein lechem koach anhaga raka yidei Shem Kadosh. So they can only really work if they have access, my interpretation, if they have access to the holy name, Shuhu Shem Elokim Gamor, because that has to run things in the way of the Eitz Hadas Tov V'Ra. V'omar b'anshe Hashem stam v'lo anshe Havaya, so it just says men of the name, but doesn't say which one. And it definitely excludes the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. They're called this by just this name. It's mashma that they're not called men of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Lav mastim mistim stima elegriusa. So it doesn't v'amar Hashem stam lemiliusa, that the reason why it only uses the word Hashem, doesn't say anything afterwards, is not because of something high quality that it has which would mean that it's working with the special name, which is Yud Kei Vav Kei. Saw some, but it's closed up. It doesn't tell you who it is. V'amar Hashem stam the griusa, so therefore the name is really talking about something which is last. Lomer she'enim misnagim elacha yedech b'shem Elokim shel Olam Habriah, so then using only the name Elokim, which now is, maybe we pronounce it Elohim, you have to tell me about how we're going to do this, shel Olam Habriah, shehu b'sod Eitz Hadas Tov V'Ra, which is the secret of the Eitz Hadas Tov V'Ra. V'lo griusa anshe Hashem stam. Amnam, pasuk ena mekaben the griusa kol kach. Now he wants to say like this: it is true that it's a lesser name, right? It's a name which has din applied to it. But here we say it's not kol kach that closed up and so only din. Sheim came koyu lolomer behedya anshe Elohim. Then it should have just mentioned the name. The people that use the concept as it's a world of Eitz Hadas Tov V'Ra. It didn't say come out and say that. So it leads it stam below Amar Anshe Elokim Mishum Kitzas the Hashem the Hainu Gam Shem Avaya, because this name here that we're talking about, which is also the name Avaya, Koloma the Giburim Elu Nichlalu Kitzas, there is an aspect of them Gam B'Shem Avaya, in the name Avaya too. So that's the concept that I think I was saying in the shir that previously, that this is the concept of good and bad in the same place. It originally hasn't oriented in good, so this is the Eitz Hadas Tov. Vatamhu mechlala da Adam nafku. The Fisha Kiburim Elu Yatzim Adam da Atzilus, they originally came out of the Adam of Atzilus Shechut Sod Shem Avaya, which is the secret of the name Avaya. V'yesh the Giborim Elu Shorish Gam Lamala Bezer Anpin the Atzilus and Nikra Oilam Canal. So again, Zer Anpin is called Oilam. That's the place they originally came from. There's that aspect within them. So we're in Olam Habriah. V'od ki os hey achrona shashem b'vaya. So the furthermore, that final hey in the Yud Kei Vav Kei, mislaveshes the mata ba'olam Habriah, as we know, it goes down into the lower world. V'hi sod malchus the Atzilus. This is the secret of the malchus of Atzilus. Sheyoredis mislaveshes b'makom hanhagas agiborim shevet nikra Eitz Hadas Tov V'Ra. So he wants to say again, the hanhaga of the Giborim is called by the concept of the balance scale, or the Eitz Hadas Tov V'Ra. It's a mixture of both. V'nimsa shachakiburim yesh lechem shorsh b'shem avaya, but they have a root which is also in the name of Avaya. It's there too. Mitzada os heyach rona shal Hashem, and it's because of that heyach rona goes down into Bria. V'lekach amar anshe Hashem, so therefore it's amshe Hashem stam. V'lo amar anshe Elokem, or Elohim, I don't know which one to say. V'hinech b'inyan zeh nirmaz b'milas Hashem shehu notrikam Hashem hey hey shem. Kolomer os hey the shem avaya, that the os hey of the shem avaya is in the mix. Hamislabish b'shem Elokim, it's now inside of the name Elokim. You have here also the name Avaya Elokim, which is 112. I saw it in another place. B'shem Elokim Debriya. Okay, so now we're going on a little bit further. Ksiv, it writs like this: Adam Beker Bal Yalin. So the man in his glory should not lay over after he dies. So v'bir hukach, then this is like this: Adam Beker B'ikira de Malka. Guf Adam Yisrael, the body of a Jew, Shemes, it's dead. Hu Yankar v'nichbad, it is precious and honored. B'shum kavod Melech Elyon, because we're in the tzura of the kavod of the Melech Elyon. Ka'guf na'asa b'dugmas atzura Elyon. Adam Yisrael nichlal b'soda Adam Elyon, so that we're also part of this. Bal Yalim below rucha. So don't not let it stay over unguarded underneath in a situation where it has no ruach in it anymore. V'chein also, so therefore it's forbidden lahalin osel meis, to leave the body over when it's dead, below ruach, without a ruach in it. Ki halina choya kalon the bezayin leguf, because staying over unguarded over the night is a disgrace, an embarrassment for the body. Moshe kaseh behem shekapasuk sham. So over there it says sham nimshcha bechem is nidbu, so that it's compared to like the body of an animal which has no kedusha to it. Kolom shal yedera halonis aguf hamez, by letting the body of the dead person stay over. Nimshal v'nidma haguf hakodesh kamo behemos, so then now they're like bodies she'ain bechem ruach kodesh, they have no ruach kodesh for the kach, and for this reason who kalon and bezoyim, it's a disgrace and a terrible shame. Going on. Now we're in Tikkuni Olam Habriah. Now we have been talking about Olam Habriah. We slid into Olam Habriah. And now we're talking more. Tlesa Malke Karaba. So these are Tlesar, 13 Malachim of war. Shlosha Asa Malachim Osim Melchama, they are warriors. Vahim Sod Shlosha Asa Tikkuni Dikna de Erik Anpin, and these are the Tikkunim of Erik Anpin, Shal Olam Habriah. So in every olam, all of the parts of him are there, and there's a Erik Anpin in Bria. She'osim melchama im arishayim l'kolosim. So therefore, this is the good part. This is the part that's going to go to war using the name Elokim. I guess he was talking about it, to be able to fight the Rishayim of V'kofim called Adinim, and they subjugate all of the Dinim. Behind the Beshiva, that is Bekoich Shiva Tikkuni Gugolta, and how is it they use the 7 Tikkunim of the Gugolta of Erik Anpin de Bria. Now we're in Bria, Olam Habriah, and Olam Habriah, the 7 Tikkunim of the Gugolta of Erik Anpin are going to be playing. Gemo Kain Yesh Olam Habriah, so therefore we see in Olam Habriah Shiva Malachim Shahin Sod Shiva Tikkuni Gugolta Shel Zer Anpin. He says the Bria, Ba'ara is Chazio. So these manifest themselves v'kocham v'givurasam, nearer the parts of a nukva. It manifests itself there with their struggle, I guess he's saying, in the malchus of that Olam Habriah, Olam Habriah hanikra eretz, which is called land. Notski krava, kishevet tikunim elu yotzchim notzchim. As a milchama lakilyon rishayim, in order so that they are successful in war, they destroy the bad guys in Olam Habriah. Va'inyan hu shazer anpin hu bebechinas bachor. So zer anpin is the concept of a young man. Shehu gibor v'takip b'milchama, strong and ready to go to war. V'lechein iker nitzchon hamilchama na'asa yedech zer anpin. So if you want to win the war, you have to use zer anpin. How in fact does you see the manifestation of its ability to fight? That's in Malchus. Kibiyad Malchus Nimsarim called Kli HaMilchama, because in Malchus all of the weapons of war are given over. In other words, she's the place where it actually, you pour armaments into this area, so to speak, for Zeranpen, and then they all organize over there in Malchus, and that's where you see the Kli HaMilchama. V'omer od shebeparts of Zeranpen, let's look at it like this. Going to the parts of Zeranpen Shal Olam Habriah, where in Olam Habriah, Yesh Gam Tesha, there are also Tesha Tikkun Dikna, there's the 9 Tikkunim of the Dikna. And using those 9 tikkunim of that beard, he's able to be a powerful warrior. The salkin bedargin, lefi shatesha tikkunim elu olim, they rise up. The kabo koyach mebedregas elyonos, so they're able to rise to a level where they can receive koyach from what's up above or what's panimi to them. The ratim uschon v'lis diyim chibidehun. He says what? Haim Ransim, the Olim, Keritzonim, they run, they are able to climb up or go upwards. In other words, they can go get further strength from what is more panimi, because we're talking about a world which you said is Olam of the Eitz Hadas Tov V'Ra. So looking at from the very highest places, he's talking about the Eric Anpin of Olam Habriah, has an access to a tremendous amount of strength. So corresponding to this, these partsufim in Eric Anpin, Vizer Anpin, Shal Olam Habriah of the Olam Habriah, these are what? These are the meeting dates in the Torah. So he means the holidays. Shoshosha Ba'olam Habriah, which he says, this is the fact that the origin of the holidays of the Shlosh Regalim, particularly, have to do with their origin in Olam Habriah v'Zechah Sidrim. Shiva Tikuni Gugolta, so let's go to the very top of the head of Eric Anpin of Bria. Me'irim b'Sheva Yemei HaPesach, it shines in the 7 days of Pesach. So this is the very high level. Dikna shall Eric Anpin de Bria, so now let's go to his beard. Me'irim b'Yom Shvi shall Pesach, it shines specifically on the day of when we left Mitzrayim. Asher bo choise kriyas Yamsuf, that's where the kriya took place. Shena'ase b'koich adikna de Eric Anpin, which happened as a result of the beard of Eric Anpin. So these are facts that we need to know. Ukeneged hischalkus adikna, the third one to Eric Anpin, the mizbah shlosh aser tikuni dikna. So then the beard also can be expanded to 13 tikuni dikna. Heim shlosha aser chodshei hashana. These are the 13 months of the years. So how does he count it? These are what? These are Shlosha Aser Chodshei Hashana, 13 months of the year. I'm not sure I got that idea. So number Dalet is Shiva Tikuni de Gugolta Shel Zer Anpin de Bria. So now instead of looking at the Eric Anpin, let's look at the Gugolta of Zer Anpin. He said Me'irim b'Sheva Yemei HaSukkos, they shine into the 7 days of Sukkos. And number Hey, he says Teisha Tikuni Dikna Shel Zer Anpin, the Bria Me'irim b'Teisha Yamim Rishonim Shel Saras Yemei Tshuva, they shine into the first 9 days of the Saras Yemei Tshuva, Ad Erev Yom Kippurim, until you get to that time, the right up until Yom Kippur. Ve'elu HaTeisha Tikunim Yordim, so these 9 Tikunim, they go down. V'nim Shachem Shlosh Eser Tikunim, and they extend out from their 13 Tikunim to Dikna to Eric Anpin, Hamizgalim Be'ima, which are all related in Ima. There's a lot of words here, a lot of ideas. He said, V'lekach, Kol HaRotza D'Shuva Az B'Tshuva, so a person that wants to come out at that time, Ein Misha Yimcha, nobody can hold him back, She'yacha B'Yado K'moshen is Boyer La'el, as we explained before, because it's able to pull that Kedusha from Ima. And that's the shir today. Call to. Have a wonderful Shabbos.